Hey Dreamers, Bryce here from Midnight Notion, singer-songwriter, musician, big fan of Metallica, but I have no idea what my favorite Metallica song is. Could it be Some Kind of Monster? Let's use math to find out. Cue the intro.
So give it to me now!
For the best Metallica song! Some Kind of Monster, track number 3 from the infamous Saint Anger. So, because we're on this record, we have to give a Saint Anger disclaimer. We know about the snare. Get over the snare. We're not judging the song based off of the mix or what they did to their instruments. We're going to listen to it together. We're going to stop at any time we hear something interesting. And then I'm going to grade it using the following criteria: composition, memorability, emotional response, instrumentation, and lyrics. Each category is a scale of 0 to 4 with a grand total possible of 20 points. We'll find out at the end of this video if Some Kind of Monster has what it takes to get to the top 20, but make sure you subscribe because I love you. And I want you to show your love right back at me. Actually, you don't have to love me in return. I just think that it's a free thing and it'd be a nice thing for you to do. If you want to be a good human, that's probably something you would do. Let's listen to the song. What I like about this intro, I know I just barely started it, but you can actually hear the snares rattling on the bottom of the snare drum. Lars's snare, whatever speaker they have set up, you can hear that they've mic'd the speaker. They get kind of a cleanish sound. There's maybe a little bit of overdrive on there, but when the speaker is playing, it actually rattles the snare drum, and the snares underneath, which they eventually turn off, are kind of rattling. You can hear the rattle of the snare. Now, I don't know for sure if that's the snares. It could be just a general distortion. It could be anything else in the room. It could be just the effect that they have on the amp. But to me, it reminds me of the snares rattling when an amp is just a little too loud. Call me crazy, but I think that pang actually works with this riff. As a matter of fact, I would argue that this riff is one of the heaviest riffs in Metallica's entire catalog. They keep saying right before Sad But True, "Metallica gives you heavy, baby." I think this is one of the heaviest things they've ever written. I think it's amazing. Just ba-da-da-da-da-da. Notice the drums, just cymbals on the 1, 2, 3, 4. Psh. 2, 3, 4, crash, 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 crash. He could be going crash, 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 or hi-hat, or something else. But I don't think it's even the crash. I think it's the side of the ride cymbal. I think he's washing on the ride. Just it's a real thick, beefy crash cymbal, whatever it is, or ride, and it's just got a nice really thick, really heavy, really amazing riff. And then we got this. Now, I do think that the toms and the it's a cool sound. It really is a cool sound. It's unfortunate that this whole section of the song doesn't matter. It doesn't ever come back. It's only in the intro. It's just kind of there. It's kind of padding for me. Even this, it's a fun little groove, but notice how it's just boo-doo-doo, boo, boo-doo-doo, boo, over and over and over and over for so long. The riff never changes. It feels like a solo. I don't know what I'm doing with my hands. Solo. It feels like a solo, but it's not a solo. It's just a melodic riff. And the riff isn't interesting enough. It's like 3 notes long, and the rhythm is just kind of holding out notes. The drum groove is fun. I'm sure the bass is doing something interesting. I can barely hear it, but it's unfortunate. I feel like this riff is good enough to be put in a different song. Doesn't belong here. Now this part is where this is where we get the memes about the trash can drums, is because it's just too much. Here's what's going on here. They're playing the main riff again, but they're adding a couple of fast picking notes. So instead of do 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 do, they're doing the do 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 do, you know, like they're adding extra things. I did it wrong in my example, but what I'm saying is they're speeding it up a little bit. Lars has for some reason decided to just do a thrash beat, puka 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 puka. You know, you could call it a polka beat if you wanted to, but it's like if you look back at his songs like Battery, puka 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 puka. He's doing that, but it's such a fast speed that it just sounds like it just sounds like like you can hear that pang of the snare drum. It just sounds like he's just hitting hi-hat snare, hi-hat snare, hi-hat snare, and you can't really hear the kick, and it's just noise. It's like, here's the monster. Rah! I don't know, it doesn't do it for me. This whole riff is also weird. Oh, okay, cool down. The monster's gone away. We can just breathe a little bit. Okay, now we're into the song again. It feels like we took a little detour and we were driving through the countryside and we're like, oh, look at that, and look at that, and look at that. Oh no, monster. And then we're back to the detour, and then, oh yeah, that's right, we were listening to a song. Boom, ba bam, boom, bam, ba bum. I have a story about this song, and I'm going to take this time to tell you that story. I heard the single to this song on the radio one day, way back in the 2003, whenever the single came out. The single for Some Kind of Monster is only 4 minutes long. This song that we're about to listen to is 8:25. 8 minutes and 25 seconds. They cut it down to 4 minutes, and it's amazing. Go listen to the single for Some Kind of Monster. It's almost incredible. It's like they realized, oh yeah, we looped these sections way too many times. They do the intro, they do the main riff, and then they just cut to what this part is. Bum, ba, bum, 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 and they cut out that whole 2 minutes of whatever that boo doo doo boo, and they just get right into the song, and then it's so much better. And that was the moment where I said, you know what? I got to start putting together something called Saving Saint Anger. I believe this record has some of their best material, but it's just poorly produced, okay? It's less on the band. I'm going to fully blame Bob Rock for not convincing them that they need to make something listenable, for allowing them to stretch these riffs out so long and just make them so boring. If you just compacted it down to the best of the best, you've got an incredible record. Now, I started actually working on it around 2008, and because I'm not getting paid for this, I have to take several detours of my own. And then I think it was 2015, this group did the whole record. They recorded it with modern technology, but they didn't do a whole lot of chopping of the songs. They did a fairly faithful recreation of it, just with better tones, if you will. My intent is to take the songs and nurture them to what they could be. And you can get an example of what I would do with The Unnamed Feeling. Go check it out. I'll put the link in the comments or in the description so that you can see it. But The Unnamed Feeling by Midnight Notion, my version. I hope you enjoy it. Anyway, let's get back to the song. It's long. This riff. These are the eyes I can't see. I want to point this out. We are 2 minutes and 9 seconds into the song, and this is our first vocal line. It's not bad to have long intros, but this intro was too long.
the hands that drop your trust. These are the boots that keep you around. This is the tongue that speaks on the inside. These are the ears that ring with hate. This is the face that never change. This is the fist that grinds you down. This is the voice of silence no more.
I love that this riff, yeah. I know he's not saying yeah yet. I don't think he does that until the second verse, but it's so, or I guess third or whatever you want to call it. But it's so cool. Such a great moment for the audience. You play this live, the whole crowd is gonna, yeah, we're gonna friggin' love it. This is some good stuff, man.
The lakes and circles run. This is the beating you'll never know.
Okay, notice also, I'm stopping this a lot, but I won't have to go over this the next time through. The first verse, the verse is in two sections. I think it's 4 and 4. The first part, Lars was just playing on the hi-hat, boom, ba-ka, boom, boom, ba-ka, boom, ba-ka, boom, boom, ba-ka. The second time through, he's going ba-boom, ba-ba, ba-boom, boom, ba-pa, ba-boom, ba-ba, ba-boom, boom, ba-ka. Different rhythm. Now, we're on the second verse, technically, and this also is in 2s, but we're now on the cymbals. Psh, ba-ka, boom, boom, ba-ka. And then the second time through, it's going to be ba-boom, ba-ka, boom, ba-ka, boom, ba-ka. So snare on 1, 2, 3, 4. So he's changing the rhythm up with each section, each half verse. And I appreciate that. That's how you build a song and make it interesting. Good job once again to Lars.
These are the lips that taste no freedom. This is the feel that's not so safe. This is the face you'll never change. This is the God that ain't so pure. This is the God that is not pure. This is the voice of silence no more.
What happened to that? There's like I think it's the bass. Right at the beginning of that, and then it just kind of goes away. The drums are doing a fill, the guitars are just bop, bop, but there's like just a thick bass. I don't know why it stopped. They should keep that going all the way through the riff. It would be so much beefier, but oh well.
We the people.
You want to talk about sections that don't fit? That whole bit, the We the People bit, does not fit the song at all. There's a terrible transition. I'm sorry. I love the band. We are positive on this channel, but we are also honest. When you're writing a song and you just throw in something like that, did not fit. What is Lars doing? We the people. There's no rhythmic interest. There's no, like, the guitars are just kind of playing whatever. Like, it just doesn't match with the rest of the chunky frickin' song. This song is such a headbanger, and you're just going and ruining it right before the chorus. Come on. There we go.
Some kind of monster. Some kind of monster. Some kind of monster. This monster lives.
Then this riff. Okay, so we've got some kind of monster, some kind of monster, some kind of monster, this monster lives. That's the rule of threes again. We got 3 and a tag. 3 and a tag. Perfect. Great songwriting. Some kind of monster. That's 4 words. 4 words. How easy. If you want something to be memorable, that's all you gotta say. You don't have to say so much in the chorus. Come on, guys. Listen to the drums.
This is the face that stones you cold. This is the moment the knees breathe. These are the claws that scratch these wounds. This is the pain that never leaves. This is the tongue that
There's like the end of that line. He like realizes the mistake he's made. We the people. Oh. I love that growl, by the way.
Some kind of monster. Some kind of monster. Some kind of monster. This monster lives.
Okay, so this whole section is not in the radio edit. However, I would agree or argue that this section is actually really super fun. Like this whole middle section of the song actually has some wonderful content in there. I love how Kirk is doing this, but then James is stopping. They have this really interesting dynamic between the two. It's really making this cool. I like what's happening with the drums coming up in this next section. It's really neat. We have a really interesting section here. We've now dropped out. It is just one guitar. It sounds like James because it's in the left speaker, and the drums, but he's still on the crash cymbal. So he's still playing hard, but just having the one guitar, no bass, no second guitar, just everything seems smaller. And so now he's got this little verse where it's just one guitar and the drums. It feels small. When they all come back in, it's going to feel like an explosion. I like that.
Black that uncolors us. This is the face that you hide from. This is the mask that comes undone. I'm in us. Ominous. I'm in us. Ominous. I'm in us. Ominous. I'm in us.
This ominous I'm in us could be the equivalent of die, die, die. It's such a brilliant part of the song. I love it so much. Why did they have to screw this song up with all those weird transitions? Listen to how perfect this is. It's so headbangy.
This is the cloud that swallows trust. This is the black that uncolors us.
Okay, so this is the same as it was before, but now we have both guitars, and instead of the drums being a straight beat, he's doing a fill of the snare drum, or boo boo ga boom 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 pa 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 boom. It's a different version of the same beat, but it's thicker now because everybody's playing along.
This is the face that you hide from. This is the mask that comes undone. I'm in us. Ominous. I'm in us. Ominous. I'm in us. Ominous. I'm in us.
I love the whole middle section there. The transition back, throwing in those weird cans, and then the We the People. We don't really need it. I mean, I love those stops. Ba-da-da-da-da, ba-da-da-da-da. We the people. That fits really great, but the whole stuff and the ba-ba-bum, 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 ba-ba, it's kind of an awkward transition. Doesn't really work for me, but it's good to be back to the good part of the song again.
Some kind of monster. Some kind of monster.
Love that.
Some kind of monster. This monster lives.
I don't get it. I don't know why you would end a song that way. I saw someone show me their acting demo reel, and it had all these clips of them acting in these short films that they've done, fine acting, and then at the very end it showed their picture and there was like a trombone sound like wah. It's like, you just erased your whole, like, all of the seriousness that you had, you just cut it off at the end by adding this little circus riff. You took everything that was happy or not happy, but everything that was crunchy and gritty and raw and aggressive, and you were like, just kidding. Wah, 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 neener, neener, nee. That's really kind of dumb. So they don't have that in the radio version either, which is a good idea. All right, so that's the long song. We made it through. Good job. You made it through. Let's give this sucker some points, shall we? Composition. Now, I don't really like the composition of this song, with an asterisk by that, because I do like each individual section of the song, except for the fast part. When they go into the thrashy bit, that's trash. But most of the song is actually really golden. The reason it doesn't work is the way that it's put together. We have a 2-minute long intro before the first verse, and it really just feels like the first minute repeats a second time. And that little detour groove that I'm calling like the you know what I'm talking about, the detour, it didn't feel like it fit part of the song. Same with the We the People. It didn't really feel like it was part of the song. And then the transition from the middle section, from the bridge, from the solo, whatever you want to call it, back to the chorus, that also didn't feel like it fit. The chorus riff, the main riff, the verses, all those sound fantastic. Even the ominous I'm on us, it's really, really cool. But the way it's stitched together is very poor. It's way too long, it's way too repetitive, and we're tired of it really early on. So compositionally, unfortunately, this one gets a 1. Memorability. Now, I want to give this a lot of points because Some Kind of Monster is really freaking catchy, right? That's easy to remember. But let me ask you something. Do you have all of the verses of this song memorized? And on top of that, how long is it going to take you to remember them? I know that you know that each line is, this is the blank, that blank. All right, this is the thing that does this other thing. All right, this is the noun that verbs. All right, you know that that's the structure. But if you were to sing along with this song, I am willing to bet, if you don't already have it memorized, it's going to take a little while to get the order of operations. These are the legs, these are the eyes, this is the smile, this is the God. Which one am I on? I don't know if this is verse 1, verse 2, verse 3, verse 4. I don't know where I'm at. It's really hard to remember. I would also wager that the middle section of the song, most of you forgot about it. I would wager that it's super forgettable, not because it's not cool, but probably because you're burned out by the time you get to it. And then you might have heard the radio version or some fan edits or something. That middle section gets often overlooked, and then it gets erased by a weird transition. So it's kind of hard to remember this song. You have a really catchy main hook. You got really catchy riffs, but you got words all over that are almost impossible to remember without setting some time aside to sit down and learn them. You have to read them out along with the song to learn them. You can't just listen and learn as you go. It takes a lot longer that way. So unfortunately, memorability, you can't really give them too much for that, but good try. Right in the middle, memorability, it's a 2. Emotional response. Once again, I have an asterisk by this number because I don't like listening to this song. However, I did buy the physical copy of the single, which includes the radio edit, the 4-minute version, and that one is way better. It also includes some live tracks from Paris, and I really like those versions as well. You get a fun little screw up. James screws up some vocals in Ride the Lightning. It's really fun. Go check that out as well. But I think that when it comes to this main recording of Some Kind of Monster, not a fan. Don't like it. Emotional response, it's a 1. Instrumentation. They're all doing pretty good. We got some really catchy riffs. We've got some interesting changes on the drums. That's great. What I have to knock them points for is because of that weird thrashy riff. The whole We the People concept should just be copy, It just like cut out of the song and just thrown into a dumpster with the rest of E.T. the Extraterrestrial on the Atari. Just thrown into bury it up in the desert somewhere and never see it ever again. Somebody eventually digs it up and goes, "What is this from?" "Oh, it's some kind of monster." But it's just we don't need any of that section. But I do want to point out that James's vocals are really cool here. He has some really gritty. He's got a rah in there. Some point he's got monster. He's got a lot of gravel in that voice. His voice must have been trashed after every recording. So he brings it up. Lars's change-ups bring it up, but a couple of those transitions bring it down. So right in the middle, Some Kind of Monster. Instrumentally, it's a 2. Lyrics. This song has an excellent example of anaphora. I think that's how you say it. Anaphora. It's a rhetorical device where you repeat the same word at the beginning of successive clauses, which basically means this is the blank that blank blank blank. This is the blank 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 blank. This is the blank blank blank. Using this is the on every single line, that's anaphora. And so that's a really interesting concept. I like this poetic device. I like that it's, just kind of building a monster. Here's the arm, here's the leg, here's the mouth. You're putting this monster together, and what do you get? Some kind of monster. It's a really cool setup, a really cool premise for a song. I like it. I also like This Is the Voice of Silence No More being the tag on every single verse. In my opinion, I think there's too many lines. This is the blank goes on way too long. We got 4 verses in this song and not a single one repeats to my knowledge. And it's so much. I get what it's trying to say, and it does say what it is trying to say. So that's fine, but it just feels overwhelming to me. I do like the bridge verse, I like the chorus, but it's too many words for the verses. So good try, excellent work, but just not quite what I'm looking for in a favorite song. Lyrics, that's a 2. And so, Some Kind of Monster gets a grand total of 8 points. It's not even close to enough for the top 20. List is currently in 66th out of 80. So it's not bad. It's still better than Saint Anger, but it just doesn't have what it takes to be a better song. And I think I can fix it. You'll have to stay tuned. Hit that subscribe button so that you can see my cover of it eventually when I decide to finally work it through. But yeah, that's where the song sits for me. Let's take a look at that top 20 list. Just to remind you, I don't think that this recording belongs with these 20 songs. I mean, just take a look. We've got Puppets, we've got Unforgiven, we got Sanitarium, Blackened. Do you really think Some Kind of Monster was going to make it here? It's not because I hate Saint Anger. I actually really love Saint Anger. I think there's a lot of potential here. It's just that this song needs a little bit of nurturing, a better producer, and it would have been much, much better. So that's our top 20. Now it's your turn. In the comments below, use my method, add it all up. Use each of the 5 different categories and tell me what your score is, because it's really interesting to add them all up and find out, hey, maybe the song is better than I thought it was. 10 is I think 12 and higher means it's a pretty good song. So anyway, give me your number below. I want to know. Make sure you check out my music. Midnight Notion is available all over the internet. And once again, a secret little plug there for the Unnamed Feeling cover right here on YouTube. And of course, smash that subscribe button, because tomorrow we're going to clean some windows. Thanks for watching. See you then.